Hi, this is Lisa, and you are listening to I Love That Movie. This podcast is for movie lovers. It's not an unbiased opinion, it's not a straightforward review, it's just a couple people talking about a movie that they love. The format is each week I have a guest, and that guest and I discuss a movie that they love, something they're obsessed with, something they connect with. We'll talk about the plot, the director, and the actors, but we'll also talk about the personal connection my guest has with that movie. So if that sounds like something you want to listen to, keep listening. Hey, this is Lisa, and if you want to catch up with me on X or Twitter, you can at ILTM Podcast. I'm also on Instagram at I Love That Movie Podcast, and we have a Patreon. The show is always free, but if you want to support us on there, you can. That's at patreon.com/I Love That Movie. And every week you get a bonus episode of just the other things I'm watching, and we have a lot of fun on there. But today, I have a returning guest. I have Stu. Say hi, Stu.
Hi there, Five Timers Club. Hooray!
Yes, welcome back. Love it.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yes, I know it's been a little while.
2 years-ish.
Really? It's been that long? Man, time is freaking flying. That's crazy.
The last thing was Malignant, which was part of the Halloween season.
Oh, that was good. I like talking about that. Yeah, well, I really appreciate having you back. I know for those listening, I don't record as often as I used to, and I feel like that's probably a part of it, but really appreciate having you, Stu. I guess if people haven't heard you on the show since it's been a while, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi there, I'm Stuart, and as you can tell, I'm Scottish, from Glasgow. I recently turned 40, so I'm a bit mentally delicate right now. But also since last time I talked, I have gotten a new job. I'm working now in the movie theatre, and I enjoy that job. And it seems very, on brand for this. It lets me get to see movies a lot more. Well, I mean, not that I wasn't seeing movies a lot anyway, but obviously, in proximity. Even if I don't go see properly, just going to screens and checking things, I can be. I can see a little bit of things and get an idea of them. So yeah, that's me.
Well, welcome, and yeah, congratulations on that job. That's really cool. And yes, you're in Glasgow, which is very advantageous for the movie that we're about to talk about today. So, listeners, I don't pick the movies; my guests pick the movies. And what movie did you choose to talk about today?
I chose the movie Wild Rose, which is from 2018. And would you like to do the intro description or?
Sure. Oh, and happy birthday. And yeah, thank you for being upright and able to record after your 30th birthday. I know that's a big milestone.
40th birthday. I said.
Oh, I thought you said 30. Oh my gosh. Okay, 30. You wish it was 30, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I misheard you, but happy birthday and welcome to the 40 and Up Club.
Thank you.
Well, okay. So for Wild Rose, yes. I do want to share with y'all that if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it before, I suggest pausing and listening and going and watching it and then coming back because we're going to talk spoilers for sure. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis for you.
Shoot, go for it.
Fresh out of prison, a Scottish woman juggles her job and 2 children while pursuing her dream of becoming a country music star. She soon gets her chance when she travels to Nashville, Tennessee, on a life-changing journey to discover her true voice. Following the success of this film, Jessie embarked on a UK and Ireland tour, which included a set at Glastonbury performing songs from the soundtrack. Now, I know that's not part of the description, but I wanted to share that because I thought that was really interesting. So I had actually not heard of this movie before, Stu.
But yeah, I've heard of Jessie Buckley though, because she has been blown up
Absolutely.
a bit. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I can see, like, I read a little bit that, this movie is really kind of what propelled her into the spotlight, and that at least over here and on the other side of the pond, and but wow, like the fact that she sings all the songs too, and it's just very interesting. I kind of wanted to hear, like, what is your journey with this film? How did you hear about it? When did you first see it, etc.?
The movie theatre I work at now happens to also be my local movie theatre,
Oh,
and
great.
we have like a subscription service. Basically, you pay a fee and you can see as many movies you like a month. And I believe this was part of like unlimited, was called the unlimited screen, which is early screenings of certain movies. So like that was how I first saw it, and I saw the trailer for it, and yeah, it was fun. And obviously, there's big appeal to me seeing a movie like set in Glasgow. Has like Scottish actors in it. Also, although of course, actually, Jessie Buckley is actually Irish, but she does play the role very well.
I was
And
going
so
to
does
ask you that if she was Irish or Scottish. Okay, cool.
yeah. Apparently, like Jessie Buckley was like an Irish like singer in general, but then she got into acting. And this isn't even like the first thing I saw her in,
Oh,
because
really?
she was also in the Tom Hardy series, BBC series called Taboo. Did you ever see that?
I've never seen that, but I was reading a review that if you're, either in the UK or you're a watcher of, BBC type cinema, that you would have already have heard of her because she kind of had a presence in a few things already.
Yeah, she like, it's funny that she does play like a sort of what's the word, a musical singer in
Oh,
that.
okay.
So it's obviously like they're leaning in a little bit with things she does. But also she's been in other things since then where she's not been quite so. It's been more acting emphasis,
Yeah.
like Fargo and Men, and she had like a supporting role in Judy, the Julie Garland movie, which ironically you
Oh,
think they would have got.
yeah.
You would think she'd be in that as a singer, but she doesn't sing at all. But
Interesting.
yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I'm actually a big fan of Jessie Buckley, and she was like, I've also most recently saw her in Wicked Little Letters with Olivia
Oh.
Colman. That was a really good comedy drama movie.
Yeah, I think I saw The Lost Daughter, and then I've seen Women Talking. And then I feel like there was one more thing I saw her in. It wasn't Men, but it was a movie. Oh, it was I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I think that was the first thing I ever saw her in.
Mm-hmm.
She's in that with Jesse Plemons. Yeah, and that was kind of the first time I saw her and thought she was really interesting. And but this role very much feels like this is, like, I don't want to say, I mean, I know that the character is a little troubled, but I maybe like the closest to her personality just because she's, a singer in it, like she actually is. So I thought that
And
was
it's,
really interesting.
and it's very contemporary
Yeah.
compared to some of the things she's done. So yeah, yeah, she does do a lot of period stuff now that I think about it for some reason. Because the Wicked Little Letters, I think that's set in 1920s or
Oh,
1930s, I
okay.
think. But it's definitely
Interesting.
it's set after World War One. Yeah, yeah. And I think the fact, and like in that, like she's playing Irish, and like that's part of like why her character is kind of disliked. Just like a bit of like inborn
Mm,
prejudice against her, and like assumptions made about her. But yeah, I really do like Jessie Buckley, and and like this was like even like I said, I seen Taboo. I completely forgotten that she was in Taboo. So when I watched this, I just really appreciated her in this.
yeah, I think it's great that, you talked about having that subscription service with your or pass with your
Yeah,
local theater. I have one too. And it still doesn't get me out there as often as it's getting you out there, which is great. But I feel like with Wild Rose, you got to have that experience that some people don't get to have anymore, of seeing like a smaller indie film that's a little more like personal, like in theaters, which I think back in the day when I used to go to see movies like that all the time, it's like I would just kind of walk up, see something playing, and go see it. It sounds like you got to have that experience a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah. And so, let's talk a little bit. So you saw this in theaters and it just really resonated with you, I guess, because you really like Jessie Buckley, or are you familiar with the director or anything else?
Well, I'm not not really director. I don't know. Is he director Tom Harper? See if he's done anything else I've seen. Oh, he did the Aeronauts, which I saw later. I didn't realize that
Mhm.
was him. But
Oh, wow.
I did like. Oh, he's also directed some episodes of Peaky Blinders. So maybe I've seen some of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might have
But
seen some of those. So more TV, it sounds like.
yeah. The TV series Misfits, which
Oh, nice.
I'm a really big fan of as well. But so yeah, that's a nice thing to find out about. But yeah, I wasn't really aware of like the director really so much, but like just so much the cast, like Jessie Buckley and Julie Walters as her mother.
Mhm.
Again, who also again is not Scottish, but she does she the essence of like playing like an older Scottish like Glasgow woman, like she did that really well. Julie Walters, because I'm sure like most of the listeners kind of know her best from the Harry Potter movies or maybe Billy Elliot.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, she did look familiar. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
she's
you
like
for pointing that out.
yeah, she's Ron's mother in like the Harry Potter movies. But she is actually like a very beloved like British like actress in her own right, and like she's got like her own accomplishments. Like she was like she's a two-time Academy Award nominee, both for I
Oh,
think
wow.
Billy Elliot and for Educating Rita, which is a really good movie I recommend as well with her.
Hmm.
Have you heard of that?
I may have. It doesn't spring to mind immediately, though.
It was a comedy drama from the 80s with well actually it was based on a play that she was also like a star in, so they made a movie of it and they cast her, and it's her and Michael Caine,
Mhm.
and it's good.
Oh,
Like
okay.
she's playing like an adult, like a young adult. Like well, she's a hairdresser in like late 20s or mid to late 20s, and she decides to become like an adult student, and she sort of gets like private tutoring from Michael Caine's character and like
Oh, that sounds interesting.
drama, and it's about the clash personalities, and it's also about her like sort of expanding her um there's a whole lot in it about crab in a bucket mentality of like her family not really like thinking that she's like thinks she's better than them because she's getting a job. She's in education, but she's not really doing it for that. It's just more about it is a good film. It's kind of hard to like sum up because it's not quite as like anybody can watch it, but it's like there's a lot of depth to it, but it's also like very enjoyable,
Mm.
and like their dynamic, her and Michael Caine's, is very good. So I recommend that as well.
Oh, well, I'll have to check that out. I had a couple of other quick facts besides Jessie Buckley going on tour as well. I read that Academy Award winning Mary Steenburgen actually co-wrote the song that Jessie Buckley's character performs, "Glasgow, No Place Like Home," and you'll remember Mary Steenburgen from a lot of stuff. I mean, she was in Step Brothers, Back to the Future 3, quite a few things. So I thought that was sounded kind of random, but
I did not know
interesting.
that. That was
Yeah.
cool. Is
And
she?
then, oh,
Does
go
she
ahead.
have a? Sorry, does she have a musical background?
I don't know.
Steenburgen?
That was really surprising to me. Like I looked it up and I mean as long as yeah, oh, you know what? It says Mary Nell Steenburgen is an American actress, comedian, singer, and songwriter. So yeah, I guess I had no idea she was that talented. That's awesome. But
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. The last thing that I wrote down too is that Lauriston Bar featured isn't far from Glasgow City Centre, a traditional 1960s time warp close to Glasgow Central Station under the bridge of West Coast Main Railway line. So I have to ask, have you ever been there?
No, but
No.
the Glasgow version of the Grand Old Opry, the bar that she
Mhm.
has our sort of part time singing job in, that's a real place, and my sister has been there.
Oh, wow.
And I've seen like some of the locations they use. Yeah, I've been there. Like the big there's a part like where her mother works and where she later gets a job as
Oh,
like a
wow.
cleaner at the Silverburn
Mhm.
place that I've been there, but that's a little bit out of the way. That is something about filming in Glasgow. Movies that are set in Glasgow, they tend to film in like not so much like the central areas.
Mm.
I think maybe just for just so they can get like peace and quiet. They tend to go a bit more out to like the north or like other like more like less densely populated places. So, but like so, yeah, I did definitely recognize a few places from here.
It's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I wanna talk, I think, a little bit too about the film itself. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
talk a little bit about, kind of why you picked this film and, what interests you about it and things like that.
yeah. Well, like I said, I'm just very like drawn to having a movie that's like ultimately feel good, and it's like set in
Yeah.
Glasgow, because it's like a Scottish drama can be very. Well, it's kind of funny. I'm going to say like a bunch of things about it. That it's very like focused on crime and drugs, and technically this is in this. These are elements in this.
Yeah, technically that happens here too, but in a different way.
It's like yeah, like Glasgow set things is very like about like grittiness and squalor. Even the comedies can be a bit like that.
Really?
As well. Yeah. There's a BBC Scotland sketch show called Burniston, and I think they carefully encapsulated it. And I think you maybe find it this like on YouTube if you look for it. But it's like there's a sketch called The Drugs, and it's about a fictional TV series, and it's literally just a series of scenes of a father telling his son, "Swear you won't talk to the drugs. Swear on your mammy's grave. Swear on the Virgin Mary's grave. Swear on the Virgin Mary's mammy's grave." and it's just like very like it's just taking the piss out of like the cliches of like Glasgow. It's like drugs, like drug dealers who you owe money to, and like people getting drunk like crime, and like just
so interesting, because I don't picture Scotland or Glasgow that way at all. Do you feel like that's deserved, or do you feel like it's like an unfortunate stereotype?
Well, Glasgow is a gritty city. I mean, it's just it's the fact. It's also like Glasgow's like weird in that like it's not a place that gets a lot of focus and like something that's sort of sold internationally. It's like when Scotland gets covered in something, typically it's like it's like something historical, or it's like very like picturesque, where it's like set in the Highlands, or they'll be like, they'll have like Edinburgh featuring it, because Edinburgh's like very nice to like film, because it's like a big medieval setting, it's got a castle. Whereas like Glasgow is like it's kind of funny, like Edinburgh is the capital, but like Glasgow is very much like more of the cultural hub in Scotland. It's like where a lot of like if a TV show is like filmed in Scotland, it tends to be filmed here. And it's also it's also like a big city for like music, and a bit of comedy as well. And like although Edinburgh does have the Fringe, but that's like a once a year thing. But yeah, and so like typically when we make our own things, it does tend to be a bit more focused in on Glasgow and a bit on the grime and that. But we do have our own like things that's a little bit more like we have our own sitcoms and stuff like that. And it's like there's even like weird, but we are kind of like generally ignored by the wider world, and like for instance like Poor Things, which I did enjoy. That movie like is based on a book which is actually set in like Victorian. Is it Victorian? It's like the book. Have you seen Poor Things?
No. You said Pure Things?
Poor Things, the Yorgos Lanthimos movie with Emma Stone and.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah. Poor Things.
So like that's the movie is set in London, but it's like actually based like, and the book is based on, it's actually set in Glasgow. But
really, I was about to say, I was like, I don't remember it being in Glasgow. Thank you for clarifying.
Because I think that's why like I think they kind of give a shout out to that by having Willem Dafoe's character at least have a Scottish accent.
That's true.
But yeah, we like I say, we do tend to get ignored a bit. So I mean, it's cool that like this is a movie that's still in a way like celebrates and captures like sort of like the essence of Glasgow, even though it's like also kind of about American culture a little bit, about how country music is like very like country music is pretty beloved worldwide. Like even if you're not like a big country music fan, you can probably name a country music song that you've that you know and like, or like other country stuff. Yeah. And like I think the film like really captures that, and how there is that is kind of like, I don't know if you call it a subculture, but there is people who are like it's definitely something as well that like I'm very aware of like older people here like like what country music a lot, and like my grandfather he was like a Johnny Cash fan. Like that's obviously a very obvious thing. He was, and like Johnny Cash of course gets like shouted out.
So that's kind of your personal connection to it, is that your family also liked country music.
A little bit. Like I want to say, everybody like kind of likes country music a little bit. I would argue, like even if you don't like, I mean, even if you don't like quote unquote country music, there's probably country music songs that you can like sort of say that you're into. And like I can definitely relate to like just the depiction of Glasgow people in it, because they did such a good job with like casting and like the people who were playing them, and like also the script as well. So that was cool.
Yeah, I would say Glasgow's a big city, right? So like big city problems. I mean, I think that that's normal for, and I think like when a lot of the ways that cities are depicted here in the US are kind of the same way. It's like, oh, the crime, the drugs, blah 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 blah. And it's like it's kind of nice when something can sort of represent a different side of a city in general. But it makes sense that a lot of the times when they try to portray like a nicer part of a country, it's almost always away from the city somehow as idyllic or whatever. But yeah, I was curious about the country music thing because I thought, for me, I grew up here in Texas, right? And surprisingly enough, I was never a big country music fan.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it was because that's such a stereotype of Texans, and I'm like in Dallas too, and so it's kind of like I think when you're a teenager, you're almost kind of rebellious. Like I never listened to that, and I would never listen to
I'm going to
but
bung my cowboy hat.
yeah, I'm like I don't even have a cowboy hat. Da, da, da. But then as I got older, I felt like I embraced it a little more every year, and pretty soon I bought cowboy boots. And I when I got married, my bachelorette party was in downtown Fort Worth, which is about as cowtown as you can get. I will say my friends felt very out of their element there, but I thought it was fun. I think that part of the culture is fun and interesting. So I can see
Yeah.
how it has appeal elsewhere. I remember when different country altogether. So I mean no offense, but when we went to Ireland, there were advertisements for Garth Brooks coming to town, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And I think the person that was doing like the little tour bus around that area that we were in said that country music was pretty big actually in Ireland, and I was like, oh, I could kind of see it. I mean, like I think even though country music is U.S. homegrown in air quotes, I think the genesis of what country music became, I think, is from European music, right? Like I think it's from their ancestors, the same musical instruments and things like that. So
yeah, you can
I
sort
can
of like
understand that.
you can sort of like folk is kind of
Yeah,
derived
yeah,
from
very
folk
similar to
music.
folk. Yeah.
Yeah, because we do like obviously like Scott like Celtic, we do have like a lot of like folk tradition. We've got like bands that do like Ceilidh songs type things, like where the we see her like her own band, like the sort of things of like with the accordion. Is it the accordion or the what do you call it? It's like an accordion, but it's got keys. What is it? What do you call that?
Uh
Ham organ or
oh,
no? Is
I
it?
don't know. I guess I would call it an accordion, but that's probably not the right word.
Yeah, but it's
That's
like
cool though.
yeah, but yeah, she does like sort of talk a couple of times in the movie about like her connection to the country, like what she's asked by Sophie Okonedo's character, like why she likes country. He says like three calls and truth.
Oh yeah.
Susanna asked her about that, and she also like when she's talking to the radio DJ, and she like sort of like tries to say that she's like an American born in a Scottish person's body. Like
Yes.
that's like the most like nicest, because like the way she uses the term transsexual, but obviously the movie's a little older, so it's a little outdated as a term. But like
Mhm.
she has tried to like that's kind of part of her arc where she kind of like views. She does so by the end of the movie, she does kind of come to appreciate like her actual Scottish roots more,
Yes,
and
I noticed that.
sees how that can be like an actual asset and like make what makes her a bit more
Unique,
special
yeah.
as a country singer. Because like a lot of the movie is about her like pining to go to America and discover, and then
And
and
very
be
much picturing it as how it is not. Like I think it's funny because I think that happens here a lot too. Earlier this year in March, there was like this big it all ends up being swirled into one thing over here, even though there's such different places. But like there's like a giant Irish festival in Dallas, but then there's also like a bunch of stuff from England there and stuff from Scotland. It's like, but it comes across as like people being sort of fanboying over another
Mhm.
culture, or they're like, oh, my great granddad was something, and it's like it feels very removed from the actual thing to me. Although we went, I mean, we had fun, but it's like I feel like that happens over here too, where people sort of have an idea of a place and not what it's actually like, and they're like, that's where I belong, even though they've never been there. And then I think when they go there, they may walk away with a different impression, realizing, okay, I felt like an outsider here, and maybe that's why I was relating so much to another place, but actually I've come to realize how much I love about my home.
Yeah. And like couple of the songs that they record to the soundtrack, which I own the soundtrack, by the way. It's really good. It's like it's
Oh,
mostly
yeah, I thought the songs were great.
it's like yeah, a lot of the songs you hear in the film, like she does like Jess Buckley does cover versions of it on the soundtrack and in the film.
Oh, really?
But there's also like a couple of ones where the original songs, like the song she sings at the end, Glasgow, or is it No Place Like Home?
Yeah, I really like that song.
And the one that plays over the credits called Stealing, was it Robbing the Bank of Life or Stealing the Night? That's like another like one where like both of those will have like, or like done the country style, but like that if you actually listen to the lyrics, there's like some fun little like cultural references to Scotland in it. Because the whole one with the plays over the credits is like about like this wild couple who like meet in a saloon, and it's like it makes them sound like big like outlaws, but really like if you actually listen to the lyrics, they're just like two people in a club in Glasgow, and there's just all these like sort of like western like motifs put through it, and there's like 2 shots of whiskey and an iron brew. It's like that's like the sort of signature line from it for me, with it like that melding of the two cultures.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I think and I was going to ask you too, which you already kind of answered, like, is country music really big over there? But you said it's kind of like a subculture, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like when she actually gets her job back at the quote Glasgow Grand Ole Opry, and you see like the hen do, which is what we call bachelorette party, and they're all like wearing the cowboy hats and stuff.
So I love that. I was like, we deserve that. Americans deserve that.
Yeah, that's a very common thing over here. It's like I mean, it's like like the Western cowboy thing is like a very obviously like worldwide, like it's like iconic worldwide. So like over here, but it's like there's no. Yeah, so it's like yes, I don't know like I said, I don't know. It's like I think subculture was just the best way I could sort of describe it.
Yeah, and it feels kind of like the way like Americans are sort of drawn to like the punk music scene over here, and like it seems like Jesse sort of views country music the same way, almost like, well, in this environment, that's when I could be like wild and free and myself. It's almost like she thinks like it's Scotland that's sort of holding me back. And then it's kind of funny when she goes to America and she goes to Nashville. I was telling Nick, I looked at him and I said, okay, when she gets to Nashville, how is that going to translate at all into a career? Because, Nashville's a huge city, and like lots of people play music there. And then that happens in the movie. It's like, it's not like you would go to Nashville and someone would give you a contract, because lots of people are very talented at singing. And that one lady's like, people are here from all over the world, and it's very commercial, by the way. And I think she was shocked. She thought it was going to be like the subculture in her head of like people that are having fun and getting drunk and getting rowdy and a community, and it wasn't like that at all when she got there.
And you have things like the taxi driver that drives out of a motel, like he's got his own like CDs in the back of his car. He's
he
like
even tried to. Yeah, you're right.
And when she gets on the stage at the actual Grand Ole Opry and sings, and like the security guards, I was like, oh, I've lost count of the people who have done that. And it's like, it's nothing really unique about what Rose is doing. Because she's even when she's asking at the bar about how you get on the stage, and like the waitress tells her that people from all like Australia and like
the
Netherlands are doing it, and she's like, oh, okay.
It's like, oh, there's more competition here than I thought. She's actually, and I thought that before she got on the plane, I was like, she's actually more unique in Glasgow for having that talent than here. I mean, same thing in Texas. Texas isn't as big of a music scene as Nashville, but I mean, I could literally today get in my car and go to a restaurant and someone would be playing country music. So, it's more unique actually for her to do that in her hometown.
Yeah.
But I think she was worried it was like inauthentic or something like that. But to us, I mean, when she sings country music, it sounds flawless to me. I mean, it sounds exactly the same. I think it sounds great.
And it's like what you're saying about like the way she like try using that culture is like sort of she try to latch onto that as like sort of an explanation for the way she is, and it's like there's there's a part in the movie where she's talking to her kids about being in prison, and
Yeah.
our son says, "Oh, you weren't a criminal, you were an outlaw," and he says, "Oh, who told you that?" I was like, "You did," and it was like that was like she was trying to like romanticize
Yeah,
what she was doing,
exactly.
but what she was doing was like she was like trying to smuggle drugs into a prison, which she said she didn't know she was doing, but she also said that
You yeah.
she said she was high when she did it. So
Yeah. I mean, I will say one cool thing about this movie that is unique for the type of character she is it's very empathetic towards her still, which I
yeah,
like because when you really think about it, and at first, halfway through the movie, I kind of got upset at the mom a little bit of her mom because I was
right.
like, wait a minute, she had children before she even turned 18.
Mm.
Like, what the heck was going on in her life that she was like doing drugs and getting pregnant? Like, something was wrong. But I think that part of her mother's pain and anguish over it is I think she knows that at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
she was young, and making a lot of mistakes.
Also, interesting fact that isn't in the actual movie, but on the DVD, there's a extra where Julie Walters in an interview, and like she says that apparently Rosie's like two children have different fathers as well. So that's another detail about her
Oh.
because that was the thing. Like when you're first watching the movie, I kind of assumed her boyfriend sort of boyfriend. Like I thought he was like maybe one of the kids' fathers, but
Yeah.
apparently he's not at all. He's just her latest boyfriend. And
Yeah. I think
um,
he's a part of her wild side that
yeah,
she's not serious about him, but it's
yeah,
it's like when she gets drunk, she hooks up with him kind of thing.
but
Like,
yeah, like a lot of the movies about her like growing up and having to like sort of maybe
yeah.
accept the things about her that she sort of wanted to discard, but then she kind of realizes because like she is trying like with Susanna, her like employer,
Mhm.
she is like hiding a side of herself, and she's basically trying to because what Susanna's trying to do is like sort of live like is like recapture her youth vicariously
Yes, I
through
agree.
Rose, and Rose isn't dispelling that notion by telling her about her past because she doesn't even like she hides the fact that she went to jail, which is like sort of understandable because like she was just trying to get a job and like she wouldn't probably never got that and like but also like not, but there wasn't really but like when she just straight up asked, oh would you like kids, Rose, and she says, oh yeah, one day, but not yet, and it's like, oh you're
Yeah.
and like it's even like even her mother even calls her out later on it by saying she doesn't even know, does she? So wow, there's no hope if that's the case, and there's no hope for you, and there's definitely no hope for them, and it's like ow, and,
Yeah, it was
and
harsh, but
yeah,
probably needed.
yeah. And can we talk a little bit about the husband as well? Because it's
Yes, yes.
like when he like confronts her about it, it's like he doesn't say anything that's untrue. Uh, when he tells her that, oh yeah, because he's just like, yeah, I know you've been to the jail, and
Yeah,
I
you
know.
probably all you had to do is look her up. I'm sure that's all public record.
Yeah, and but like at the same time, he's trying to spare his wife's feelings, but so he is. So the weird thing is like he's not trying to like rumble Rose, but he's trying to like get her out because he's completely right. Like if you found out that somebody you're working for was like that and hid it from you, right?
Yeah,
You
you'd be
wouldn't necessarily want them around
suspicious.
your kids, which makes me a little bit. I don't know at the ending when Rose is like playing at the fish market, which I beat you by the way,
Oh, nice.
for a comedy thing. And like you see Susanna in the crowd, but you don't see him. And I'm like, did they split up over this? Because I hope no, because it's like he had a
Yeah.
point. But yeah, yeah, is because it's like I mean, they do kind of play that for fun though. It's certain times like she just quite like blatantly asks her for the money, like oh I'll need a couple of grand,
Yeah.
and it'll just be 2 or 3, and then she's like, oh Rose, I can't just give you money. I mean, not that I think that's what you're asking. It's like no, I was asking you that. it's like,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
think on the wife's end though, like not very smart. I mean, you don't really know this person and
yeah,
yet you're going to invest in their whole career. That seemed weird and like kind of a strange dynamic of like a rich person being like, "I'm going to lift you out of poverty."
yeah,
It kind of didn't sit right with me either. Like I felt not that she was like a bad person, but I just think like a little bit naive and a little bit like I guess maybe be a little more self-aware when you're offering help, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on someone you don't even really know very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting for sure. I thought about that scene a lot, like after I watched the movie.
Yeah, and like I say, like she was kind of going for her own little, because she was like turning 50, and so she was like kind of like, and like Rose was kind of like taking advantage to sort of like her, like sort of maybe her trying to recapture her youth.
Yes, I think you're right. I think she saw somebody that wants to feel young and wild and free, and she's like fulfilling that need, but leaving out the important details. Like, I kind of screwed up my life. I went to jail, missed part of my children's upbringing. I'm struggling now. Like, it's not this romantic view of what she's portraying, like, at all. So, and that's like you said, the husband like knows what's going on right away. But I liked that the movie wasn't too mean to Rose, because I do feel like they point out. But I told I told Nick, I said there's a little bit of a trope in the movie of, like when she finally kind of gives up, she goes to America, realizes it's not all it's cracked up to be, comes back home, and it's very different when she sees her home again. It's like she's happy to see it. But then she's still kind of moping around the house, and then her mom's like, "I didn't want you to give up hope." And I said, "Good, you've been sad long enough and depressed that you lost your dream. Now I'm ready to help you."
Yeah,
I feel like that always happens in movies, and probably in real life too sometimes.
yeah, I think they kind of like hammer it home when like it's her birthday and she like blows out the candles, and like her son asks, "What'd you wish for?" She says, "Oh, you can have my wish," and it's like, "Ow, that's really hopeless."
Yeah, not passive aggressive at all.
Yeah, the kids, by the way, are actually like, I really like. I thought the kids were like good actors as
They're
well.
very cute.
Like the daughter, like it's like they go the two sides to it, where like where the son has like kind of bought into Rosie's bullshit a bit, whereas the daughter, she's much more. She's had to grow up a little. She obviously had to grow up a little bit more
Yes.
quickly,
Kinda
and so she's not.
traumatized her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like Rose is just like Rose doesn't like realize like a lot of, like she doesn't know like certain like basic facts about him, like her son's allergies.
Yes, that was like a unfortunate scene when she let her son go inside and was talking to that boyfriend, and then he got injured.
Yeah, or when like she's in the kitchen and the daughter comes in to get a glass of water, and like Rose is just kind of like try awkwardly
Yes.
connect with her and does a peekaboo thing, and she's like, "What are you doing that for?"
Yeah, she's like, "I'm too old for that." Like, that ship has sailed. Yeah, I know. I felt for her, but again, because she was a young mom, like I think even if she hadn't gone to jail, not sure she was super equipped for two children. So I felt like she just, like you said, I think she had growing up to do. It kind of got shortcutted, right? Because she had those children. So it's almost like she kind of needed to go through some of that, but it is unfortunate for the kids. But don't you kind of wonder, like, what if her mom was also like that when she was a kid? We don't know. Like, maybe when she was a child, her mom was wild too.
Yeah, because also like Rose says that she's been she was like singing at that bar since she was like 14 years old. So this is obviously
what was going on there?
Well, I do kind of have a theory that
Okay, I want to hear.
that maybe Rose got her love for country music from her dad, and maybe her dad died when she was young, and like that kind of set off her like latching onto that more. Because they don't really go into because I think there's a bit where like the mother is going through like Rosie's like stuff, and there's like all these like souvenirs and like little like leaflets and like tickets from like old country stuff that they went to, and so it's like maybe Rose got that from her dad or something, like, because he's not brought up at all in the film, but
maybe it's like a Coco thing where it's like, I'm resentful of your dad because he was a musician. We don't know.
I don't mean so much that. I just mean that maybe they just both really like he really liked country music, and he shared it with her, and then she got to it, and so she was always a bit more like close to him than she was to her mother.
That could be too. That's totally possible.
But yeah, it's interesting. Is like because, like I said, there's like those stuff like there's apparently is in the characters that's not really in the text. Like I said, like how Rosie's like kids have different fathers, and they're not in the movie at all. It seems either.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This seems like a pattern. I don't know. We don't know though. Like you said, it could be a number of things. What did you think of that scene where she goes on that train to London and then gets really messed up and like loses her bag?
Yeah, that was. I've seen similar things to that. People do like to get a bit raucous on public transport over here. The as and I forgot about the bit where she's talking to the Scottish guys in between compartments, and she's just talking about how great first class is, and how
Oh yeah,
you get bacon rolls. She goes and gets the bacon rolls, and just she, I'll get you one, and she comes back with a whole big handful of them, and I was just like singing the song like that.
it was funny.
Yeah.
But then she like lost her bag, and it's like this is the thing she does, right? It's like she has a little too much fun and kind of loses track of the bigger picture. It seemed like by the end of it, she had like quit drinking because of that or something.
Also, like the first time she has to like get home. No, it's not the first time but it's like our first like paycheck. She goes like drinking with her boyfriend, and then she's like she just barely gets home to like answer the tag monitor, and then it turns out she completely forgot about taking her kids out for pizza, and like her mother again was usually right about you can't just promise them something and no deliver. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Also, she could go out later that night because she got permission from the court system, right? Like she had to go to court and convince them that in order to keep singing, she had to be out later, or maybe that was later.
Later in the movie, she had to get with the scene where she I did like that little comedy scene when she's talking to a solicitor about it, and he says, "Oh, they gave me the." They sent me to jail when I got 2 kids and all, and it's not even my fault. It's like, well, whose fault is it? Well, the judges obviously forgave me the sentence. and then when she's being, when the but also, yeah, but I did also like that when she's talking to the when she's in court and the solicitor's like giving the bullshit about how she's changed her ways. She's like she's not. And she's a promising career as a country and western singer, and she's like, he's like, what sake? Like, it's just country, no country and western.
I know she's got that mentality of like somebody that's in a very niche group, a purist, a little bit. But then I think it's kind of funny how he like kind of immediately regrets helping her afterwards. But then by the end of it, he's like drunk and dancing with her too at the bar. I thought that was a really cute scene.
Yeah, I forgot that. I forgot he did that. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, So, anything else?
I thought it was kind of funny, without getting into too much detail, how like the second she got out of prison, she went straight for her boyfriend. I thought that scene was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Again, just kind of trying to show her like wild side. But I found the song at the end that you were talking about earlier very moving, where she incorporates like not just talking about her children, but about her mother.
Yeah.
I thought that was sweet. Oh, also wanted to mention when she was in prison, I had a question about that. So like in the movie in prison, she had like a bunch of fun stuff in there. Like over here, if you're in prison, they like keep all your stuff, as far as I know. Or do you think they had just given it to her? Like she had a lot of paraphernalia in her cell, I noticed.
Maybe it's different for women's prisons.
Yeah, it might be different. Seemed a little bit more comfortable, honestly.
Maybe it's like there was some security thing. Because what she did wasn't like a violent crime, so maybe
that's true.
Like a wing that had like lesser, it was less strict. I don't know. Like everybody there like seemed to like her.
Like it was really chill. I'm like, okay, that is like the opposite of prison. I mean, I'm sure you've seen like clips of Orange is the New Black and stuff, but it's not like that at all.
I've seen like British prison stuff. It is tend to be depicted like open like that, like how they're all just like on the stairways between the thing, and there's not a
Yeah.
yard. There's not
Oh,
a yard.
yeah.
It's just like it's kind of like they've got like little dorms and they can just walk back and forth. Like that's always the way it kind of seems to be depicted in like British depictions of prisons. Also, by the way, like the opening song, the Country Girl song, that's actually like a country version of a rock song by
Oh, really?
by Primal Scream, who are a Scottish band. So that's like kind of
I
like
wondered about that. That was like that song sounded different to me from all the other songs. So that makes sense.
Yeah. The original version is like a out and out rock song. But like I said, it's by a Scottish band, so there's kind of like I was obviously a very deliberate choice of like the meshing of all the cultures for the opening of that. And that's kind of the one that's on like the soundtrack as well. What's also quite funny on the soundtrack is there's a few songs that aren't actually in the movie, but they're like the original ones, and like you can sort of like interpret them as like songs that Rose writes herself after as she actually becomes like a music star. Because there's a song called let's see, I think it's called "Famous Folk Are Weird," and it's like you could totally see that as being a song, being like from the lyrics you could totally like buy this as like Rosie's like view of like celebrity, is like she like gets more experience like that sort of behind the scenes in that. Let's see what's okay, I'll get the lyrics to it. It's called "That's the View from Here." Parentheses, famous folk are weird. But like, let me see. Let's see. Wear this, don't wear that. Don't step out of place. Just smile. Don't say too much. Put that makeup on your face. Just keep pretending you're having a good time, because that's the price of fame when you're standing in line. And choruses, that's the view from here, that's the view from here. It's loss and pain and tears, and all you want's a beer. Keep your loved ones near, keep your loved ones near, because famous folk are weird. That's the view from here. So it's like not that I think that she like has like a miserable time, but she's just like obviously giving her like opinion and like
definitely not as idealistic as she kind of thought before.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and but it's quite cool, like the variety of the songs there, because there's like some there's slow ones and there's like more like lively ones, like the one she's singing where she's like doing the hoovering, the vacuuming, and like when she's doing it and she's like and like the actual band members like appear in like the background of the lounge. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
It's like the scene just before like the kids walk in and see her doing it.
And I didn't.
Because you see like the guy with like the beard and like when they like the fiddle or something like that, and like the accordion guy and that, and so it's like
it
kind of just shows how like lost she was getting in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really recommend like the it's like a very good like sort of the soundtrack's a very good like thing for like summer to listen to. It's just like I said, like I'm not like super into country, but as like just as an album, it is like very good to listen to.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's like it's just the official soundtrack of the movie, and like also as well like that intro song, the Country Girl one. They did actually like release that as a single, and they did like a music video for it where she's in character as Rose at a bar.
That's cool.
So yeah, I think you can find that as well if you look it up.
Will do. That's awesome. Well, was there anything else about the movie that we didn't get to chat through yet?
I don't know. For some reason, I was just very impressed by the fact that they did actually have the money to go to Nashville, and shoot there and like show her at a place.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as an important thing, it's like kind of a weird thing. Have you seen the movie Blinded by the Light?
I don't think I have. No.
It was a British like indie thing about it's like set in the 80s, and it's about like an Asian teenager who discovers totally blanking his name. Born in the USA.
Oh, I think
The-
okay, I think I've seen
Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, Bruce
yes,
Springsteen.
I
Yeah.
think I've seen like trailers for
Yeah.
it, but I've never actually watched it.
It's a good movie, but it has like a weird thing where at the end he like wins a competition to go to like was it Ashbury Park, New Jersey,
Uh-huh.
or which is like
That,
where like
that
but the
sounds
thing is,
right.
but
If I'm honest, I don't know for sure.
hold on. Greetings from Asbury Park.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right. So like he wins a competition at the end of the film to go to Asbury Park, right? But then the movie doesn't have the money to actually show that, so you get this like really like bad green screen of him standing in front of like basically postcards of Asbury Park, and it's like it takes you in the movie a wee bit. So it's the fact that Wild Rose can actually go there and to Nashville.
Oh my
it's cool.
gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I still recommend that. It's still a good film, but
Uh-huh.
it is like kind of weird. It does have like some similarities and parallels to Wild Rose. But yeah, but
Kind
yeah,
of
like
similar.
Nashville was cool. What else? Just the supporting cast was good. And like I said, I did like the genuineness of like most of the Scottish characters in it. I mean, like the guy, I do like the fact she's got like a little mini nemesis, and the guy that steals her like band.
Oh
he's
yeah.
He's like, nobody wants to see a convicted convicted criminal up there, and she's like, Johnny Cash is a convicted criminal, you ball bag. She just beats him. Just randomly starts beating him
And
up.
doesn't she end up almost replacing her at the he almost ends up replacing her at the party too because she comes late?
I don't think he was even there. Was
oh, okay. I thought I thought I saw him there, but I think you've seen it more times than I have. I probably have to watch it again.
Because I don't get why they would invite him unless like the band invited him because they were like worried. Because like when she did show up, they're all kind of side eyeing as well because they were a little bit iffy on it.
Oh, okay. That
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
it's just the fact that it's like like I said, the genuineness of the Scottishness of it, and like some of the tons of phrases they
Yeah.
use, like when she and like just little things like when she comes back from like the trip to London and like she's asked about what was it like, and she says the first thing she actually says is like, oh, it's pure hoaching, which just means like London is just full of was like really crowded, and that is like such a like real sort of thing people would say. Like that's like they go to London and they would talk about this like they would tell you an amazing time and experience, but like the first thing they probably would say would be like, "Oh, London's like really crowded," and it's very like the mundanity of that was like I really like that. And like
That's funny.
and I do like Sophie Okonedo, and even though it does feel a wee bit like casting hospitality feels like, oh, here's the token English person, just so that you're no overwhelmed by the Scottish accents. By the way, when you watched this, did you have the subtitles on?
I did not. I will say maybe there was once
Yay.
or twice where I have trouble, but I'm going to be honest with you, Stu. I feel like Americans really ham that up. I'm going to throw some of my family under the bus too. I have family members that are like, "Oh, I can't understand what they're saying in Harry Potter," and I'm like, "Come on!" Like, or the same thing about like Peaky Blinders or like any like sort of something in the UK that they have a hard time understanding, regardless of the accent. And I'm kind of like, I don't think it's that hard to understand. I don't know. Almost feel like they're trying to prove how American they are. So I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I always think that's funny. So no, I did not watch with subtitles. I felt like I understood what she said. There may be some phrases that I don't know, but you know, if people are worried about being misunderstood, I feel like American accents are like some of them are very challenging to understand. So
yeah, I've wondered if when you guys are watching like your own things, which are set in like different regions, do you have to like sometimes use like subtitles? Like, do you watch like if you're watching something like set in like New Orleans and you're from the East Coast, you're like, I can't understand any of these Cajuns.
I would say again that it's a little bit of rivalry, like you know, pretending not to understand somebody because it's so different from you. It's more of that. But I mean, you know, definitely unique accents, and like you, I can tell when they're not authentic. You know, like to me on like you know that show True Blood.
Yeah.
I felt like it was very obvious that 99% of them were not from the South. Like they sounded like cartoon characters, but I could still enjoy it. But like I can tell when it's not a wonderful Southern accent, you know? So yeah, I always think that's interesting. It's got to be very painful to you over there when people try to do Scottish accents, I'm sure.
Most places they're just kind of doing they'll try to do like fat bastard.
Oh gosh, that's representative. Great.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think of like any examples of like an American playing.
There's
like
not a lot, and like I said, I feel like over here they kind of blend a bunch of different cultures into one thing, even though they're obviously unique. So
I don't remember being too offended by Chris Pine as Robert the Bruce. So
okay.
So maybe yeah. I mean, it's just generally when Americans play like Scottish characters, it tends to be in comedies, and so the Scottish actors tend to
be Scottish in particular, more so than Irish, and I don't know why that is. I only say those two because I feel like, again, I feel like Americans sort of interchange them or don't understand. But yeah, I don't know that there's a lot of great Scottish representation over here. I think for Americans, the biggest Scottish person that they know of is maybe like David Tennant.
Yeah.
Or let's see, maybe Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know. But
or to be fair though, like Gerald Butler, like barely even tries to.
Yeah, that's true. But again, not a lot. So I don't know why that is. Are you ready? Should I ask you the last couple of questions around this movie? Sure. Okay. So if you had to summarize what we've been talking about today, why do you think you've seen this movie so many times?
It's fun, it's heartfelt, and it's feel good, and it's about a little bit of a unique combination of cultures.
Yeah, I felt that way certainly as an American watching it. I thought that was cool to see country music as like a subculture in the way that, like I said, it almost felt like it was the way we sort of see punk over here. And that feeling of belonging to a culture that you're not actually a part of. And then that kind of realization of like maybe you have more in common with people at home, or maybe you're running from something at home. And how that evolves for her. And I like these sort of smaller films that are about like a personal story. And I didn't realize Jessie Buckley could sing, and I was surprised that I missed this one. I really enjoyed it. It was like just kind of like a nice drama, but with a feel-good vibe and ending for sure. How would you pitch it to someone that hasn't seen it yet?
Would you like? Let's see. I don't know.
That's okay too.
I mean, pretty much what I just said. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little movie that has a little bit more depth than you maybe expect on it. Yeah, fun characters, fun performances, and like I say, it's just very, very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked it. I thought it was a fun movie. It was heartwarming. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, so it's easy time commitment too. I would definitely give it a watch. Well, Stu, this was great. Thank you for your patience as we found a time to schedule. Again, happy birthday. Thank you for joining us the day after your birthday.
2 days.
Or 2 days. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you for joining us 2 days after your birthday. And thank you for spending some time on the show. Is there anything that you want to plug before you leave?
Yes, go to the movies.
Yes.
Nothing more. Not just because that would benefit me. But,
you do have a personal stake now, but no, I agree. Like,
and pick up your shit when you're done.
I love that. Okay, that's awesome. Yes, please clean up after yourself. I one of my first jobs was at a movie theater, and I can attest people can be very messy. So definitely pick up after yourself. And enjoy the movies. Thank you again, Stu, for coming on. Hope to have you back soon.
Thank you.